Saturday, the following morning, we have an incredible triple header of 3 just huge games, which we've been sort of bigging up for a while now.
Yeah.
The first of which is 5:45, 5:45 a.m. Irish time, and obviously UK and Irish time. That's going to be in the Sapporo Dome, and it is between Australia and Fiji.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
what a
wonderful
game.
Pacific clash in lovely weather, hopefully, and these two teams know how to play and put on a show.
Yeah, and like we talk about tournament momentum, this one is huge.
Yeah.
Like for both, again, a lot of these games between good sides in this opening weekend are massive. I mean, Fiji are not going to want to see their confidence rocked. The equation changes for Australia immediately if they struggle or lose this game.
Yeah.
It's going to be refereed by Ben O'Keefe, Kiwi man, and it's from Fiji's point of view, it's massive, obviously, but it's like have Fiji reached the heights of their season opener against the Maori since then?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Or that game against France last year in December, where the defence was at their peak, but that's not necessarily a bad thing coming into a pool like this.
Focus
like
the
they
mind,
want,
they have to
Fiji
be
at World
perfect,
Cups.
yeah.
All these teams at World Cups, I'm expecting to up their game from where they were in the previous tournament, or in the Northern Hemisphere cases, the warm up games. You're going to look for a boost in intensity.
You're going to want to see Fiji's best side. I think you're going to want to see.
They can't pull any punches against Australia.
No. Their foreign players they're going to be looking to, like Kunatani at 7 has been magnificent. You want to see Bodhi and Radradra in that centre partnership. And then you'd be hopeful that players who have big reputations like Matas and Nakarawas and even Tuisovas
will step up
and get to the very, very best level that we know they can play
big
at.
Test for Ben Volavola and whoever slots in at scrum half. We suspect Lamani, but they have 3 good scrummies as well. But I think there's a bit of scrutiny on Ben Volavola in this game. I think especially because it'll be important that they direct themselves into the right places and play themselves into the game.
Just that he gives the right guys the ball at the right moments. Like there's a big difference between Radradra getting the ball with someone in his face and on the outside shoulder of someone. And that's what you want to see Volavola doing. At times it's going to be about going back on the inside. At times it's going to be about just giving it to Bodia for a hit up and then get some quick ruck ball. And he's got to make those reads.
Game there. We saw with the Kiwis against in Bledisloe too. We saw a bit of unsteadiness from Beale at fullback and a bit of just like the combinations are relatively new in that Aussie backline. So it'll be a good test for his just management of a game overall to try and pull them around and play his dangerous weapons into the game. Because you need that. Fiji need to link up. And sometimes when they're at their best, it can look like it's not even about the 10 because they're attacking the space wherever it may be. But,
that's it.
But even when that seems to be the case, you'll need Volavola stepping up and playing.
They need to move the ball around. They need to attack space. At their best, they have a squad that is as talented, perhaps more talented than any other side. The raw skill of these guys is huge. Physicality of these guys is huge. They'll be determined, I think, to put in that big defensive showing as well.
And set piece. They've obviously, it's not in their DNA as much. They're more like they come from a world of sevens and offloads. But under McKenna, they have been working as scrum, trying to get solidity at scrum time, and for the most part been successful. Samoa got the nudge on against them in the PNC, I recall a little, which will concern them because while they've been improving scrum time, the Aussies have also been steadily improving, even though it's in a tournament where they're up against the box and like the All Blacks, and it's the top level. So for Fiji, they've definitely improved in that area, but will they be able to step up and match the Aussie set piece?
It's a huge question for them. I mean, they're one of the great exciting teams. It's got the potential to be a really exciting match. But for Fiji to really have a chance, I think they do have to answer these questions like can Bella Volavola step up and play at this level? Can Fiji withstand that Aussie scrum, which is obviously massive as well? And can Fiji contain what will be a very potent Aussie breakdown force of Michael Hooper and David Pocock?
The old Hooper combo. They can gather a lot of ball.
Indeed, and that'll shut them down. Then they won't get as much clean possession. That could be a killer. And then finally, just will they be shocked by the accuracy of the Wallabies' great attack, as was the picture painted by Japan in the PNC opener at the start of the season. Australia will definitely, if all things going their way, they'll want to be similarly fast and wide against the Fiji side and try and move them around and get their hands warm. They'll in the first 10 minutes, if Australia get a bit of ball and hold it, they'll want to get every single one of their 15 to get a touch
early doors and then just start to play a bit of rugby.
They have wonderfully disguised offensive plays, especially off set piece. They love to bring their wingers in off blind side.
Cheika has always been very, very good in that area.
He loves to bring guys in from the blind side of a ruck, and that's actually something that will catch Fiji, because Fiji do number up quite well and they get out of the line. But Australia will bring in players from blind side at the far side of the ruck who run out to the open side and play off either 10 or 12. And that's the kind of play that it was that strike try against Argentina in the Rugby Championship.
It worked against England 4 years ago in the World Cup. It did with their inside ball with Beale.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be looking to get maybe Kiribati or Beale into those holes. And it's the question is whether Fiji can shut that down. If they can answer all those questions, I do think Fiji have a chance here. Offensively, they're as good as anybody. They have loads of tries in them, and tries can win rugby matches.
Yes.
So that's the deal for
Fiji.
But
this is what's great about this game. Yeah. Both sides have a tradition of knowing exactly where a try is and going for one. Like they're two of the world's great attacking sides in rugby, but slightly different styles. And like Australia, the Wallabies now have tidied a lot up in only the matter of the last 2 months, really. Yeah. In terms of finalising who their guys are. And just, I wonder if they'll want to rotate a little, but they cannot overlook Fiji, obviously, and they won't. And they know that, to be honest. They know them well.
The Wallabies tend not to rotate. They tend to just go with their guys.
They do,
and stick with them for a tournament. And I think they will do that. I think you will see the full Australia team. Their biggest men could be, you could very easily see this being a game about the Wallaby forwards. Their attack could shock Fiji either. They could go the Japan route. But I think from their perspective that they'll be quietly confident of their ability to bully Fiji up front, because even the likes of, we've seen things go both right and wrong for the likes of Rory Arnold and Isaac Rodda in recent times, but generally speaking, when they're not up against the elite of the elite, they do look very good.
That's true.
And that's the kind of thing they'll be looking to do. Fiji is just win those contacts, pick them off at the line out, bully them at the scrum, starve them of possession, and then play with pace when they have the ball. And that could be just a combination that is way too much for Fiji to handle.
Well, we've seen all through the Rugby Championship, even in the last few years, where they've been struggling to cope with both Springboks and All Blacks especially. They've always Cheika's Wallabies have always been pretty tidy at putting the Argentinians to bed, but more often than not. And that's a similar attacking threat, very dangerous, fast team. But they're wily and they defend it well, and they do make their tackles, and those tend to be the games where those locks actually remind you that it's like, oh yeah, they're big boys and they can get around. It's only when it breaks up and they end up having to defend in wide channels against so much space, and there's All Blacks running everywhere.
Not to mention, they're usually big physical enforcers, and then Evan Etzebeth physically bullies them, which just changes a man. A man like that who likes to dominate, likes to be the biggest guy in the field, gets smashed by an Evan Etzebeth, and then everything is different.
Yes, that's very true. And I don't think Fiji have that Etzebeth play in. And they have different threats, and they will try and shut them down. But overall, I think there's more avenues for success for the Wallabies than Fiji. There's definitely a chance for
There's
Fiji
definitely
too.
a chance. Like if Fiji can get Mata and Nakarawa in those wide channels, mismatches with those guys, getting their hands free, running off one another, that's a dream picture. They would need to answer the Wallabies to the sort of questions. Can they stun Fiji? Can they get their sharp offense going? Can they starve Fiji of possession? Can they dominate those physical areas? And then a big question, how will they cope when Fiji do have the ball? Will Fiji be able to cut loose on them and get tries
James
off?
O'Connor's still relatively new in the 13 shirt. Radradra is not. If they can get that matchup going.
Radradra is a tough matchup for any 13.
True. So there's avenues, but that'll be good questions. That's what you want to see answered, and you'll see clues in the first 20 minutes as to how that'll go. And by the end, I suspect Australia will just about get it done, but I do expect tries too. Because Australia haven't been foolproof on defence either. They've had great performances for most of the games, and then been caught out once or twice. Even
not to mention they give up the odd offensive try. Like when they're on the ball, they throw the odd loose pass, and Fiji are great for gobbling a score.
Really good instincts for that.
Both of these sides, this is why a hammering, certainly a pure hammering, is probably unlikely. Because both of these sides do, even when momentum is completely against them, just grab out of the blue tries.
Yes.
It's something that both sides love to do. So even if Australia, I think, is the most likely outcome, get a head of steam up on Fiji and play sharper, better rugby and start to open up a lead, you would expect the odd try or two come back from Fiji. So even if Australia do blow them away, it'll be something more similar to 42-28 than your 30-0 hammerings.
I would suspect so, and that's just that's just fodder for entertainment, and that's good. It's an early enough game for anyone up the neck of the woods, but it would wake you up. I'd say 20 minutes in now, once the coffee kicks in, and it'd be grand.
Totally.
So predictions, I think we're saying Australia on balance, but don't sleep on Fiji. Which will be
Fiji.
The theme throughout that whole pool as well. There's a lot of good games.
Right up to the death, Fiji will be a threat. They're not even that big a momentum team. They can just go sometimes. They will have at least one very big performance. If it doesn't come against Australia or Wales, it will come against Georgia.
Yeah,
I feel confident saying that. Thank you so much for watching that video. If you want to catch the rest of our Overlap Rugby podcast World Cup content, please subscribe down below and comment as well. We love to hear the chat in the comments, and ring that bell so you get notified for all our new videos. Thanks.